around this part is where there would be the lower city. Lower income housing, let's say, would be down on this side, going just like today would be the lower part of the hill, and on top of the hill, that's where you would have the villas and the mansions and all the big houses that they had a nicer view from the top of the hill. Also, the king's palace was up here on the top hill. From all three of the hills, mountains tops, this one, the top where the king's palace was, and the Bira fortress or Antonia fortress, I'm told that this rock was the highest.
When did it get the name Antonia Fortress?
King Herod rebuilt the Beis HaMikdash, and he was the one responsible really for expanding the Beis HaMikdash. So he expanded this to the north, expanded this to the south. He built it, he did it in a fine way that you could recognize the stones that he used, smoothly polished and chiseled in a certain way. He rebuilt this, and he named it after one of his friends.
Okay, now this is Herod's temple, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and how different is that from the one Shlomo HaMelech built?
Shlomo HaMelech built, his was, each Beis HaMikdash has to be greater than the last. So his for sure was smaller and definitely not as grand. It didn't have, actually this wall here would be, and even this portico over here was still from the times of Shlomo HaMelech. When King Herod built it, he didn't redo this wall because this one was already done. But all of the rest of this expansion is what he did, and making King Shlomo's building, the inside, the Kodesh was only 30 amas high. This one was 100 amas high, so it went quite a bit bigger. There were many, many more details, and it became much more lavish and extravagant, and this was the house of God, and King Herod was a great king and was known throughout the Roman world and everywhere else, so countries from around the world donated, and it became this magnificent project.
So from Yechezkel's prophecy, his book and writings, how is this different from Yechezkel's illustrations and descriptions?
So when the Jews returned from Babylon, when they came back from exile and they were going to rebuild it, they already had the prophecy from Yechezkel. They already sort of, and I say sort of, knew because they had difficulty understanding it. So as much as they wanted to build the next one because they already had the prophecy, they already had the nevuah, they didn't want to build it incorrectly. So they built what they could based off of the first Beis HaMikdash and incorporating what they could from the third Beis HaMikdash. And this would be the result. And I hope I'm doing it as accurately as possible. If someone notices a mistake or something, I don't want there to be any mistakes. I understand there are differences of opinions, but if someone notices a mistake, even a difference of opinion, please let me know.
Is there anything here that you would apologize to Yechezkel for you're not knowing what he meant? Or when you read Yechezkel, do you have a kind of a pretty good picture of this?
Well, I apologize ahead of time to anyone for any mistakes because my intention is only to do it as accurately as possible with including all opinions. Any way that I set it up is going through the different opinions and different models and drawings and all the research that I could with archaeological evidence known today. I can show you sources or I can back up what I've done. I'll give you an example. This royal portico here, Josephus, Yosef Ben Gurion, he describes this also very grand. He gives it says exactly how many pillars, and they were white marble, and he gives all the details and everything. But there's
Josephus went to detail.
Yes, in certain areas and certain aspects. The Rambam was giving more halachic view, and maybe omitting certain things because it wasn't necessarily important for halacha. For example, the Rambam says there were 5 gates here, let's say, and 1 on the western side. Josephus says 4 on the west side. So over here I have 4. You can't see it, but there's 2 tunnels down here, and there's 2 over here. But that doesn't necessarily have to do with halacha, so Rambam probably omitted it for that reason. But coming back to this, some people will say that this royal portico is actually against this wall. And this wall would be, this floor would be completely covered. Today you have the digs of Solomon's stables, and you could see that there are the arches and platforms and everything in vaults, and this stairway perhaps may have gone underneath. That would be a storage room or something. I don't know. I need to do a little bit more research, but one thing we do know now is that these 3 tunnels or entrances and these 2 that we would say they're tunnels, we now know from excavating on the outsides that the stones are polished just like they were on the outsides here. So if King Herod wanted to see, why would he polish the stones on the inside that no one would ever see? So we know now that these were above ground. And actually I know these domes are incorrect. There should be 4 here and I think 9 over here. I didn't get to that part yet. I have to order some Lego pieces to finish that up. But here's Hulda's place where she's buried, and also this one here. And I don't know if this is the exact location, but I know it's in the Kidron Valley, would be the cave of, I think it's Avshalom. It's one of the sons of King David HaMelech, King David. He didn't have children, and he did not want to be forgotten. He wanted to be remembered. So he wanted this monument built for him, that he should be remembered. It backfired a little bit because people also remembered that he didn't really listen to his father. And so they would throw rocks on it and spit on it. And so he was remembered, but maybe not exactly the way how he wanted to be. So certain details like that is if I can find the source. So this here, if these were open, that is also probably a proof that this portico could not be on top over here. Because some people would say that this entrance, let's say, would go to the bottom of this portico, and this would go into this side. So the other issue that we tried to figure out is there's been difficulty throughout the ages of how do you know this 500 amos by 500 amos? How can you figure that out if this wall wasn't here and this royal portico is over here? There'd be all this extra space. How do you divide this line? How do you figure that out? So based off of knowing now that these were exposed, this is what I've come up with for now. I'm still doing research after 2.5 years. I'm still learning. If I find something new or if someone wants to send me some information to info@jbrick.com, I would love to hear it. I'd love to see it and happily change my view if that can be corrected.
Thank you. We have on your sign, we have your telephone numbers.
No telephone numbers on there, but you could email us or contact us through social media.
Visit us online at www.jbrick.com.
jbrick.com. Yeah, this is, you guys are actually this is the first interview. I just completed this, and I wanted you guys to be the first interview before it got shared with the rest of the world.
Would you accept an order for this? How soon could you produce an order for a copy of this?
So that's a very good question. So again, my original intent was to just make this Beis HaMikdash, but as I was doing research, I discovered that I needed to expand my personal model to learn more about the Beis HaMikdash itself. I built and rebuilt this many times. Like at first I did this whole ground flat, but then I learned that the east was lower than the west. And the Rambam said that, and it was a little bit difficult to grasp, but now there is evidence that you can see from sea level, that different heights of the doorways, that the east side was actually lower. So I have no reason not to believe the Rambam now. And the 500 amos here, at first I thought I did it too small, so I broke this whole thing up and I made it 2 studs bigger. I made it a little wider here, a little wider here, and then I realized my first calculation was correct because it's easy to tell. As I told you before, this would be 10 by 10. So I went back and counted it, and I counted underneath the pillars. So that's accurate now for the scale. So to answer your question, this is still my intent to make this a set. I'm going to start developing how many pieces it will be and making instructions for it. So I will be making a set. I can't tell you exactly how soon, But I'm a lot more encouraged to make this a set now, as I know we're approaching the 3 weeks. People will want
Could
it.
you give a quick list of what you already have available for order? If you have a catalog, you have a catalog.
On our website, jbrick.com, we have at least 40 different items right now. We're always coming out with something new. Probably our last set was the Lag BaOmer set. We have a couple different menorahs with LEDs, different options there. We have dreidels, Shabbos candle set with the girls, Shabbos kiddush set with boys, a bar mitzvah set, an Aron Kodesh set, Chazan barrel, cancer barrel. We have a Magen David. We have all this stuff. It comes just like a regular Lego set, unassembled, with instructions, sometimes printed parts, sometimes stickers, sometimes materials. And if you get on our email list, you'll be the first to know of a new set or
How
coupons.
big is your factory and how many employees do they have?
That's a good question. Right now, it's my wife is the business part of the business. She graduated in finances, so she makes sure all the numbers are right. I pretty much design and put all the pieces together by hand. I don't make them in China. This is all 100% Lego. They don't give me a discount. They don't make any special pieces for me. I have to choose and see what's out there. And then I have to figure out what's going to be a set, and then you guys get to be the first ones to find out.
Okay, Reb Yitzchak Kasowitz,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And thank you so much for your introduction.
You're very
I wish you
welcome.
success, Hatzlacha,
Amen.
and continued blessing.
Thank you very much.
I want to get one more
Thanks for
picture
having me.
of our sponsor here. Rabbi Nachman Wilhelm. So look him up on YouTube here.
And I may be coming out with a Kayan and Kayan Gadol and a Aron coming soon as well. I don't know if you can see this. I'll give you a little quick one. So this, something like this to this effect would be a Kayan Gadol.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Hold it a little still, a little longer, and it should sharpen up here. It's not sharpening up for us, but oh yes, a little bit.
Now you got it?
Almost. It's almost sharp. What are the details? Tell us
Close
the
enough.
details on it.
You'll see, because it's not printed yet. But this one you could probably see a little better. This is the Aron. This was, I mocked this up to probably make a set out of it. But one detail which you may also appreciate is inside it, we have the printed luchos. The printed tablets are inside. Can you see it?
Yes, well, almost.
Almost?
Almost.
Better if I come closer?
I don't think so. Hold it a little bit still, a little longer. It's not sharpening up.
No?
It's not coming in.
Okay.
I'm going to go back out a little bit. No, that's the best we
Okay,
can
fine.
do.
Anyway, the best thing to do is sign up to be on our email list, or like our Facebook page or other Instagram or Twitter accounts.
So on Facebook, how do they get to you on Facebook?
Facebook.com/JBrick fan page, and just like the page. And when we post a new picture, a new product, or a coupon or something, a contest, you'll know right away. And everyone that sees it loves it. I'm not really a good salesman. I like designing and building Lego, and I have a unique opportunity to. I always wanted a Jewish themed Lego set. I always loved Legos. I wanted to buy, but I didn't want to buy Batman. I wanted to buy a Jewish set. Batman's not bad, but you know. So now my challenge is to see what Lego is available out there and what I can do with it. I was even surprised myself at the amount of detail that I was able to put in such a micro scale. There's still more parts of this that I didn't show you yet. There's the inside of here and the inside of here. I guess I could show you really fast. I don't want to take up too much more time. But inside, right now I just left the cover, the drape that would be over the door, because this didn't actually have doors. It was material. But inside you were able to see there would be the vine of grapes, and there's gold chains, and there's gold crowns. And inside there's more detail, but we'll leave that for another time, or when we have the set available and you get the set, you could build it and see all for yourself.
Well, continued hatzlacha and blessings, and thank you so much for your demonstration.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. Kol tuv.
Thanks, you too.